The most dangerous places are never marked on a map. They are not countries you can flee from, not lovers you can leave, not battles you can win. They are chambers inside a woman's mind, hidden, merciless, and patient. Carl Jung warned that the greatest traps of the human soul are not physical prisons but inner landscapes, rooms, corridors, arenas, where a woman can walk in whole and emerge shattered. And here is the cruelty: these places feel familiar. They wear the disguise of love, of duty, of success. They reward you with applause while stealing your breath. Maybe you know the feeling. You've lived the part that everyone approves of, yet no one has ever seen your real face. You've compared your life to someone else's perfect image and felt yourself shrinking. You've stayed silent in rooms where silence was survival, though every cell in you was screaming. These are not mistakes. They are not weaknesses. They are territories, psychological places that devour identity, and once you step inside them, they do not easily let you leave. Jung called this loss of individuation, the slow death of the true self under masks, roles, and shadows. A woman can spend decades inside these inner geographies, living, working, loving, while the center of her soul quietly starves. But the moment you name a place, you begin to take its power away. That is why we must walk through them. 7 dangerous places that destroy a woman's true self, not to frighten you, but to wake you. Because if you recognize even one, you may already know why Jung considered them dangerous, and you may already sense what it costs to remain there. Stay with me, not as a lecture, not as theory, but as a mirror, because as you hear these places described, you might find yourself whispering, "I've been there, I'm still there," and perhaps you'll also see that there is a path out. Imagine walking into a hall of mirrors. Everywhere you turn, there is a reflection, smiling, polished, flawless. At first it feels reassuring. You look perfect from every angle, but the longer you stay, the more the mirrors multiply, until you can no longer tell where you are. Every reflection demands something of you. Be a little kinder, a little thinner, a little stronger, a little quieter. This is the labyrinth of the persona. Jung used this word to describe the mask we show the world, the role we play so that others will accept us. And for women, that mask is often rewarded. At work, you are praised for being competent yet agreeable. In relationships, for being giving yet undemanding. On social media, for being inspiring but never threatening. You learn quickly the reflection gets applause. The true face does not, so you begin to live in the mirror. But here is the trap. The more you perfect the reflection, the less you remember the woman behind it. You start to believe the mask is you, and one day you wake up with a terrifying question. What do I even like? What do I truly want? The answer is silence, because the mirrors have stolen your voice. Maybe you felt it. You said yes when every bone in your body screamed no. You posted the perfect photo, only to cry in the bathroom afterward. You were admired for your strength, while secretly collapsing under its weight. The labyrinth is merciless, because it doesn't punish you, it seduces you. It convinces you that you are loved, when in fact only your reflection is, and that is the loneliest place a woman can live, surrounded by approval, unseen by anyone. But every labyrinth has an exit, and in this one the door opens when the mirrors break. It happens the first time you let someone see your real, unpolished face, the first time you choose honesty over applause, the first time you stop asking, "How do they see me?" and begin asking, "Do I see myself?" The danger of the mirror labyrinth is that it starves the soul while feeding the persona. But the moment you dare to shatter even one reflection, you step into something Jung called individuation, the return to your true self. And here is the paradox. Those who truly matter will not love the reflection. They will love the face you thought was too raw, too flawed, too human to reveal. So ask yourself, how many mirrors are you still standing in front of? And what would happen if you walked away? But once you've lived too long in mirrors, something else begins to happen. You stop asking, "Who am I?" and start asking, "Am I as good as her?" And that is how the labyrinth opens into the next trap, the arena of comparison. Step into the arena. The ground is dusty, the air electric. Around you, a roaring crowd demands a performance. But this is not a gladiator's fight. It is the endless contest of comparison. Here, women battle not with swords but with bodies, achievements, relationships, appearances. Every smile is judged, every step is measured, and no matter how hard you fight, the applause never lasts. This is the arena where identity dissolves under the weight of someone else's scoreboard. You see another woman's beauty, and suddenly your own reflection seems inadequate. You read about her career, and your victories shrink in silence. You witness her family, and your private life feels like failure. It is not an arena you choose, you are born into it, conditioned to believe that your worth is a competition, beauty ranked against beauty, success stacked against success. The rules are invisible but merciless. Someone must always be better, and you must always keep running. Perhaps you know the exhaustion. You scroll through feeds where every image is curated perfection. You congratulate a colleague, yet in secret, a voice whispers that you are falling behind. You compare your motherhood, your partnership, your body to an impossible standard and feel yourself shrinking inside your own life. The cruelty of this arena is that it keeps moving the finish line. Win today, and tomorrow you must prove yourself again. Applause fades, accolades vanish. The crowd always wants more, and the more you run, the more you forget the rhythm of your own steps. Jung warned that living by external measures is the slow death of the soul, because every time you chase the crowd's approval, you abandon the inner compass that was meant to guide you. You lose the quiet authority of your own instincts. But there is another way. The way out is not to win the arena, it is to walk out of it, to turn from the stadium and step into a place without spectators. A place where worth is not earned by comparison, but discovered in silence. This begins in small acts, switching off the screen when the endless scroll steals your joy, measuring progress not against another life, but against the woman you were yesterday, listening not to the roar of the crowd, but to the subtle rhythm of your own heart. The truth is this: no arena can hold you if you refuse to perform. The applause you are chasing is never worth the cost of yourself. And when you step away, you find something far greater than victory. You find freedom. When you leave the arena of comparison, the battle may be over, but the performance continues. Because in a world that never stops watching, the only way to survive seems to be to put on a mask. Welcome to the theater of masks. Here women play endless roles: the good daughter, the patient partner, the reliable professional, the strong one who never breaks. On this stage, applause is guaranteed, as long as you never step out of character. At first, it feels safe. Behind the mask, you are untouchable. The world sees what it wants: discipline, grace, compliance. You are loved for your performance. But the more you act, the more invisible you become, because the mask is praised, while the woman beneath it goes unseen. Maybe you know the script. You are the friend who always listens, but never speaks of her own pain. You are the strong colleague who takes on extra work while quietly drowning. You are the partner who smiles sweetly while swallowing every unspoken resentment. The mask becomes second skin, and after years of wearing it, you forget what your face even looks like without it. You become addicted to applause, terrified of rejection, convinced that the role is the only reason you are loved. But here lies the cruelty of the theater. When the lights go down and the crowd leaves, the mask does not come off. It stays, and you are left alone on the empty stage, applauded yet unseen, admired yet unknown. The silence after the performance is deafening. Jung warned that the persona, when mistaken for the self, becomes a prison. A woman loses the living pulse of her soul, trading truth for a role, intimacy for illusion. And what remains is loneliness, so profound it echoes louder than any applause. But there is a way to exit the stage, not through grand rebellion, but through small acts of defiance. Saying no when your body aches to rest, admitting just once that you are not okay. Letting someone witness your tears instead of your smile. Each act cracks the mask, letting the true face breathe again. The theater will always tempt you back. It offers safety, recognition, belonging. But the mask you wear to be loved will always cost you the love that matters most. Love for your own unmasked self. So the question is not, can you play the part? The question is, can you dare to step off the stage? After the theater grows dark, after the applause fades, there comes another prison, quieter, colder, more suffocating. It is not built of mirrors or masks. It is built of silence. Welcome to the room of silence. Here, words freeze on your lips. Secrets hang heavy in the air. The walls seem padded, not to protect you, but to muffle you. In this room, the greatest danger is not what you say, it is what you are never allowed to say. Perhaps you know this inheritance. You grew up in a family where anger was forbidden, where sorrow was hidden behind polite smiles. You were taught that ambition was arrogance, that desire was shame, that truth was too dangerous to speak aloud, so you swallowed your words until they turned to stone in your chest. The cruelty of the room of silence is that it disguises itself as safety. You believe, if I keep quiet, no one will be hurt. But silence does not protect you, it erases you. Every time you hold back the truth, you shrink a little more. Every unspoken thought becomes a ghost haunting the spaces you live in. Maybe you have felt it. The lump in your throat when you want to say no, but smile instead. The weight in your chest when you wanted to confess pain, but laugh to keep the peace. The endless conversations in your mind, rehearsed but never spoken aloud. Jung warned that what remains unconscious does not disappear, it rules us from the shadows. And silence is the most dangerous form of unconsciousness, because it convinces you that you are free while binding you tighter than chains. But there is a way out. It begins not with shouting, but with a whisper. Writing the words you were never allowed to say in a journal, confiding in a trusted friend, speaking, even trembling, in therapy. Each small sound is a crack in the frozen air of that room. The room of silence is not broken in a single act, it melts slowly. But every word you allow yourself to speak becomes fire against the ice. And one day you realize your voice has always been the key. So ask yourself, what is the one truth you have never spoken aloud, and what would happen if you gave it voice tonight? But once you dare to break the silence, the world responds with noise, and soon you are swept into the next prison. Welcome to the storm of borrowed voices, a relentless chorus of opinions, demands, and instructions. Parents, partners, colleagues, friends, strangers on the internet. Everyone knows who you should be, how you should live, what you should want. Their words thunder louder than your own thoughts, until you can no longer tell if the decisions you make belong to you at all. Perhaps you've felt it. Scrolling through endless feeds, each post insisting you're not enough, unless you change, improve, hustle harder. Sitting across from someone who calls their advice love while every word erases the shape of your true desires. Hearing 10 different voices in your mind when you try to choose something simple, like a career, a partner, a life path. The cruelty of this storm is not only its volume, it is its disguise. Borrowed voices often sound like care, like wisdom, like guidance, but beneath them is a deeper message. Don't trust yourself. We know better than you. And slowly you begin to believe them. You stop listening inward, you outsource your authority, you become a stranger in your own life, guided by a compass you never chose. Jung warned that the collective unconscious can overwhelm the individual, drowning the fragile spark of the self in the ocean of the crowd. And for women especially, this storm is constant, because society has never stopped telling women who they must be. But there is a way through. Not by shouting louder, but by stepping into silence again, this time a chosen silence, not the inherited silence of fear. 1 minute without screens, 1 breath without advice. 1 decision made not because others approve, but because your body whispered yes. It is in these quiet practices that the storm begins to break. You notice which voices belong to others, and which belong to you. And the more you listen inward, the clearer the distinction becomes. The storm is real, but so is your voice. And once you reclaim it, you realize it was never lost, only buried under noise. So ask yourself, when was the last time you heard your own voice, unshaped by anyone else's? But if you ignore your own voice long enough, something even darker happens. You begin to betray yourself, not with lies from others, but with the quiet betrayals you commit against your own instincts. And that is when you enter the chamber of self-betrayal. Here, every door is locked by your own hand. Every time you say yes when your body screams no. Every time you silence your instincts to please someone else. Every time you choose peace on the outside while starting a war on the inside. At first it seems harmless. Small sacrifices, small compromises. A skipped rest, a forgotten dream, a quiet, I'll do it for them. But each act leaves a mark. and soon the chamber closes in. Your life becomes a series of choices that were never really yours. Maybe you know this place. You canceled your own plans because someone else's needs seemed more urgent. You stayed in a relationship long after your soul had left it. You betrayed your hunger, your rest, your joy, because you thought that was love. The cruelty of the chamber is that no one else needs to punish you. You do it yourself. You keep giving the key away, convinced that your worth depends on your usefulness. You become the jailer of your own spirit. Jung wrote that ignoring the voice of the unconscious leads to fragmentation, the slow cutting away of the true self. And in women, self-betrayal often hides under the mask of virtue, patience, kindness, devotion. But beneath those virtues, the body keeps the score: exhaustion, illness, an ache that no approval can cure. But even here, there is an exit. It begins with listening not to the borrowed voices, not to the applause, but to the body itself. The body never lies. When you betray yourself, it tightens. When you honor yourself, it opens. Learning to trust this inner compass is the first act of liberation. Self-loyalty is not selfishness, it is survival. And the more you practice it, small no's, small boundaries, small rebellions, the weaker the chamber becomes, until one day you realize the door was never locked at all. So ask yourself, how many times have you betrayed yourself today? And what would happen if, just once, you chose differently? But the cost of betrayal does not disappear. Every unspoken anger, every buried desire, every denied truth sinks deeper until it gathers in one hidden place. We've walked through 6 dangerous places already, and maybe as you listened, you felt the sting of recognition. But there is still one more. The darkest, the most dangerous, not because others build it, but because a woman builds it herself. I won't reveal its name now, because here's the truth: this place is so hidden, so rarely spoken of, that even Jung's language only hints at it. And I want to know if you can sense it already. Think of it: the masks, the silence, the storms, the betrayals, all of them flow downward. They gather in one hidden chamber of the psyche. A place so powerful that once you step inside, it can shape the rest of your life. So here is my challenge to you. What do you think this final place is? Write your guess in the comments. If enough of you recognize it, we'll go deeper, maybe even create an entire video only about this one forbidden place. This is your test. How well have you recognized the map of your own soul? You have walked through mirrors and masks, storms and silence. You have seen how easily a woman can vanish inside her own psyche, and yet you are still here, listening, breathing, awake. That alone is proof you are stronger than the prisons you have entered. Carl Jung believed that the soul does not die when it is hidden. It waits. It waits for the moment you are ready to reclaim it. And maybe as you heard these places described, something stirred, a memory, a pain, a whisper. This is me. Do not run from that whisper. It is not weakness. It is the compass that points you back to yourself. You do not need to destroy the prisons in one day. You only need to choose differently, once. To speak one truth instead of swallowing it. To say one no where you always said yes. To rest once without apology. To let one mask crack so your real face can breathe. And with each act, the architecture of those places weakens. With each act, you take a step closer to the woman you were always meant to be, because you are not the silence. You are the voice that breaks it. You are not the storm. You are the stillness underneath it. You are not the mask. You are the face the world is still waiting to see. So ask yourself now, will you keep wandering those 7 places, or will you walk out? Not everyone will, not for us all, but maybe for you. And if you do know this, you will not walk alone. Every woman who finds her way out lights a torch for the rest, and the more torches we carry, the less dark these places become. So tell me, which place are you leaving tonight? Write it, speak it, share it, because the moment you name it, the moment you declare it, you are already on your way home.
So, if these words found you, don't keep them in silence. Subscribe, leave a like, and share this journey. Because the more of us who step out of these places, the brighter the path becomes for every woman who still walks in darkness. And until we meet again, may you walk closer each day to the wild, unbroken center of your true self.